Your ascendant sign or rising sign. So I have another video that you should watch. Why the hell is the rising sign so important? So I'll put the link below. I have a unique take on the rising sign. Some people might think I don't like rising signs. They are the mask you wear. They are the defense mechanism you have to the world. But they are also, interestingly enough, the point at which you enter the earth. This becomes the environment that you're born into. Is it the chicken or the egg? Were you born into this environment and then that became your personality because it was what surrounded you? Or were you that way in a past life and then you come into that particular point in time to this earth because that's what you are? Well, I think it's both. We're born into an environment where this projection of who we wish we were is seen as positive. Our environment, our parents, our family, our culture, our church group, whatever, they want us to be this. They might even think that this is who we are. If your rising sign is the opposite sign of your sun sign, I'm sorry. Because you probably feel like your parents don't really know who you are. You might be 35 years old and they still have no idea who you are. That's kind of painful. If you have the same rising sign as your sun sign, that's awesome. There's an authenticity that comes across with you. You are so used to being true to who you are. That is great. If your rising sign is square to your sun, this is also an uncomfortable position where you probably feel like it's really hard to step into your sun sign. You just don't feel exactly comfortable being your true self. When we're kids, we usually look a lot like our rising sign. As we get older, we start to look more like our sun sign or our moon sign, especially if we start becoming that. You are what you eat. What you are inside starts representing itself to your exterior self. It's important to know what your rising sign is because you might be carrying a bunch of weight from the past that we can then release in this video. Be able to embrace more of who you truly are. The rising sign, it's the movie we're watching of what we think the world is because the environment we were born into said, hey, Cancer ascendant, you are a Cancer. You should act like a Cancer. We're going to reward you for being a Cancer. And the whole world we put around you is also going to see you as a Cancer. So in a way, our rising sign is less about who we really are, and it's more about what we see and project the world as. We act a certain way because this is our strongest foot forward in the world around us. Your ascendant is how you go about getting things. When you're little especially, let's say you're a Cancer ascendant. Your dad is watching TV and you want to watch your movie. And you go in there and you give the most cute, adorable, innocent little Cancer big eyes. And of course, nobody can resist. Or you're an Aries ascendant. And so you just go in there and you just change the channel. Take that. An ascendant is also how you survive elementary school and your siblings. When we become nervous, when we become uncomfortable, when we feel like we can't be ourselves, when we feel like somebody wants a fake presentation of who we really are, in walks the rising sign. Ta-da! Very useful to have. But to be happier in life and to be more of who you really are, being authentic is what it's all about. So become more like your sun sign, become more like your north node, become more like your moon sign. And don't let anybody force you into, you need to act a certain way to please them, Libra. Now, am I recommending to just lose all the traits of your rising sign and pretend like it doesn't exist? Treat it as something negative? No, of course not. A defense mechanism in nature is very useful. There are going to be situations where your rising sign is going to be very good for you to have. Like in job interview, when someone's trying to treat you poorly, you can use your rising sign as a protection mechanism. All right, so without further ado, your ascendant. Leo ascendant. A Leo ascendant, in a positive way, from the moment that they were born, their family really made them the star. Maybe they were the firstborn, or maybe they were the most charming, or a Leo ascendant is often the favorite of their parents. Maybe their parents thought that they were a born star, like they should go to Hollywood, and they just had that it quality. In the negative sense, a Leo ascendant could feel like their life was always on display. They were on a stage performing for their family when really what they wanted was love. There's their parents and their parents' friends all gathered around having a party. Oh, there's a little junior and he is crying because he wants his bottle. Oh, isn't that funny? Oh, that makes me sad. So your tantrums, your fears, all your experiences were on display. You had your little crowd cheering and clapping and laughing and poking fun. A Leo ascendant really cares about what people think about them. They really care about putting their best foot forward, charming everybody. When they go out in social settings, because of that childhood, making them feel like they need to impress everybody, they can still be doing that. So they're not feeling like they can be themselves, but they need to constantly be entertaining up there with their shtick. But what they crave is to be real. Somebody that really knows them, that can see past the whole song and dance and to see who they really are. And to love them for that, of course. Even as a grown adult, you might still feel like your parents want a song and dance. You know, they want you to be successful and they want to tell all their friends and neighbors about, oh, and then she's doing this and doing that. And failure is not an option. You have to be wonderful and you have to be the star. Just being yourself isn't enough. You need to be an icon. You need to have status. You need to walk into a room and have everyone applaud you. This usually comes from your parents' unfulfilled ambition. They wanted to be someone. They wanted to perform. And now they put that onto you. Of course, in a positive way, this means you do walk into a room and you do charm everybody. And you really have a charisma about you. That could be amazing for getting jobs and for getting opportunities. Of course, in a negative sense, you also need to be yourself. You need to be authentic. You need to not care about the vanity and, the way you look, saying the right thing at the right time. Well, what about saying the wrong thing and wearing the wrong thing? And hopefully it's not the end of the world if you walk into a party and there's another person wearing the same outfit as you. Sounds like a Leo ascendant kind of disaster. Now, of course, Leo ascendants are great entertainers. So any field that involves entertaining, they're going to shine. Leadership is also a big thing. Usually the Leo ascendant is the firstborn, but even if they weren't, they felt like they were the leader of the pack. If there were a lot of siblings, like they were the one to kind of organize the events and what everyone was going to do. And they still are. You guys are still putting together your team and you're the leader of the pack. Everything is larger than life. No ambition is too great. No goal is too hard to achieve. But just be careful because with that, you can always kind of be chasing the next star and miss out on everything in between, which is your life. Of course, Leo is also a fire sign, so there's likely to be temper, and you might feel like people owe you and they're indebted to you, and if they don't do what you tell them to do, then you're going to let them have it. So be careful of that. You are not royalty. Pretty sure there's only a handful of people on planet Earth that are royalty at this point. Treat people well. Make sure to manage your expectations of yourself as well as others. That's really great advice, isn't it? All right, hope you guys like my take on Leo Ascendant and come back for Virgo Ascendant.